Genesis 1, verse 1. In the beginning, in the beginning, yeah, in the
Listen properly.
in the.
Yo, what's up, South Africa? Welcome to Common Sense. I'm Andre. Now, President Cyril Ramaphosa has made it, guys. He has figured it out. He has figured how to combat against climate change. That is the biggest issue in South Africa. Climate change. Now, before we get into what the president had to say, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the notification so that every single time we post right here on Common Sense, you are the first to be notified about it. Now, let's get back into it. This is what the president said about South Africa combating against climate change.
The locales in the world have done to climate change. Notwithstanding that, we decided that we now need to put our best foot forward and find solutions. And the solutions we came up with was to mobilize international funding. And fortunately, we were able to mobilize $1.5 billion to be invested in South Africa. But that whole process was based on our own design.
Right.
We did not have it imposed on us. We did not have, if you like, Western powers or Western economies imposing solutions on us. It was nationally designed, and we then put it forward to those who could provide finance. And it then came up with a number of advantages. One of the advantages was we were able to raise finance smartly. We were able to raise fairly good blended finance initiatives, grants, concessional funding. So the blended finance architecture was quite good and was innovative. And we should say that we were first from the starting blocks. And we're very pleased that a number of other countries in the global south have followed in the wake of what South Africa did. So we became leaders, and what that enabled us to do is to attract investment. We now have attracted South Africa, particularly in the northern part of our country, in the Northern Cape, which is the better radiation area in the world, more than 110 billion rands in investments. In that.
So there we go. The president has said it, guys. So he's not focused on the crime in the country, the poverty rate, the unemployment, GBV. No, South Africa, You better shut your mouth if you talk about those things, because the president spoke about climate change. That is important. That is so important. And the way that they are going to combat climate change in South Africa is by international investments. Now, we all know for a fact, South Africa, that is a whole lot of hogwash, meaning that your finances does not have power over the weather or natural disasters. I've said it. I believe climate change is just a big fat hoax to tell people we want your money so that we can steal it, so that we can waste it. So we have Dr. Patrick Moore. He is the founder of Green Space, and this is what he had to say.
One of my missions is to turn on its head the idea that carbon dioxide is a pollutant and somehow dangerous, when in fact it is the most important nutrient for all life on Earth, and without it this would be a dead planet. So I say not only is carbon dioxide good, it is essential, and it's a good thing that we are putting some more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere because it was running low before we came along. If we had definitive proof that CO2 was causing serious problems and we could prove it, don't you think they would write that down on a piece of paper somewhere so people could read it? They don't have definitive proof, period, in science. I'm a student of the philosophy and history of science, and I know that the scientific method has not been applied in such a way as to prove that carbon dioxide is causing the Earth to warm.
Do you think in a few years, say 50 years from now, people go, that was a really stupid period in our history when we tried to change all our energy policies to cut this gas?
I am firmly of the belief that the future will show that this whole hysteria over climate change was a complete fabrication.
So there we go. The doctor has spoken. I don't know about you, but when I was in primary school, I was told that there's a big fat hole in the ozone layer. And that one day the sun is gonna burn the earth. That's what I was told. I don't know about you, but you can put it in the comment section what lie they shared to you about climate change. But check this out.
2004, the BBC warned the Maldives were soon to be uninhabitable, claiming sea levels were rising 0.9 centimeters per year and that 80% of the islands could vanish within a century. More than 2 decades later, though, reality says otherwise. The Maldives haven't sunk, they've exploded with growth. 12 new airports, expanded international terminals, record tourism of over 2 million visitors a year, and more than 170 resorts, with 7 added in 2024. Instead of disappearing under the waves, this so-called paradise in peril has shown no statistically significant sea level rise since the 1980s, according to satellite data. Here we have another climate catastrophe headline.
So it's important to understand this, South Africa, and the rest of the world when you watch this, that climate change is a massive, massive hoax. It's a lie. It's a bunch of rubbish.
How dare you!
So at the end of the show, I will tell you how this world will end. And it will not end by the hand of man. Now, South Africa, you have to understand something. That there are a bunch of globalists that are pushing their agendas because this is how they bring fear upon you. You have to make sure that the plastic goes by the plastic, the glass goes by the glass, this rubbish by that rubbish. But you see, South Africa, it's very important that we understand, yes, there are certain groups, especially in China, where the pollution is high, and there are certain countries that are not abiding by cleaning up their nation. Yes, I understand that. There's also other groups that throw certain things in the ocean because I know people are going to complain. Andrew, what about the plastic in the ocean? It's killing the animals. Now let me state this. We are human beings. We are a fallen state. We are instructed by God to look after this world. Clean it up. Make it look beautiful. But the error of man will always want to destroy. But the love of God will always want to restore. Now, the globalists, the big bosses, your Bill Gates. Yes, I said it's Billy Gates. Mr. Bill Gates has met with Cyril Ramaphosa before.
President Cyril Ramaphosa is in Ethiopia for the 32nd ordinary session of African Union heads of state. He met with Microsoft chairman Bill Gates at a gala dinner hosted by Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. Gates is involved in numerous charitable causes in South Africa and plans to open headquarters for his foundation here in Johannesburg. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation funds South African research into TB as well as HIV and AIDS.
So the president met Bill Gates, and we all understand and note that Bill Gates is the one that always pushes this climate nonsense. Yes, I said it. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, check this out.
I'm Christina Awayo in Dallas, and here are your top stories. Bill Gates has repeatedly voiced his opinion about what he calls the environmental impact of cattle, specifically stating that cows contribute about 6% of global greenhouse gas emissions, CO2, saying the way to solve the problem is to fix the cows to stop them doing that, or you can make beef without the cow. 6% of global emissions, he said, are from cows who burp and fart methane, and we have 2 paths to solving that. Meanwhile, China emits 31% of global emissions, with the U.S. producing about 13%. As of June, NASA reported that CO2 levels are about 0.042%. To thrive, most plants require CO2 levels of 0.03 to 0.04%. Most plants require a bare minimum of 0.02% for basic photosynthesis. below 0.015%, and plant growth dies, resulting in ecosystem collapse. Plant life has been thriving with enhanced crop yields recently due to a 12% global photosynthesis increase from 2020. Critics argue that demonizing CO2 ignores its role in food security and agricultural productivity. Experts also say policies pushing for drastic reductions will harm farmers and economies without evidence of any climate benefits. Gates has long advocated for a reduction in population size and slower population growth. In Dallas, Christina Awayo.
And this is the exact same Bill Gates that had to say this, because this is the agenda they push. They think that the world is overpopulated when it is not, because there's given a mandate to man from God to go forth and multiply. And Bill Gates believes the opposite.
Reducing population growth, that's this big benefit. The key thing you can do to reduce population growth is actually improve health.
In the developed countries, the big winners are countries that have shrinking populations.
I would like to reduce the number of people on the planet because there's too many of us.
When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population,
Wait. What the?
more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
Now, the world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that.
We're taking things that are, genetically modified organisms, and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein.
What the?
So in the next 5 to 10 years, for the next pandemic, we'll solve all those problems.
You say the next pandemic, there will be another pandemic.
Absolutely. We don't know when.
So South Africa, let me end it off with this. So the world will not end by the hand of man, but it will end by the coming of Jesus Christ. Because when Jesus Christ comes back and he separates the goats from the sheep, he will show the wrath of God against God's enemies. And so this world is sustained and held by the hand of God. And this earth will not end by the hand of man. South Africa, it's really important that we understand that governments and globalists and people in high places might say to us things that are not true. And they do that 24/7. We all went through a pandemic. We all found out that in this pandemic that they were lying to us. We all saw that 500 billion rand was given and it disappeared. So for Cyril Ramaphosa to put his focus, time and energy in climate change is just a bunch of nonsense, when he doesn't want to deal with the real issues in this country. And like I said in the beginning of the show, the real problems in this country is unemployment, BEE, confiscating land without compensation, unemployment rate, GBV, and so many other issues that we can focus on. But it seems like the only thing this government can focus on is going to other countries and manipulate them so that they can give them money under the umbrella of climate change. South Africa, let me know what your thoughts are down below. Have a fantastic day. God bless.